What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Just getting this correct. Getting the podcast going. If you guys don't follow me or listen to me on the podcast, I do have a podcast, so you can listen to me on the road or whatever. A lot easier in your headphones, nice and easy. You don't have to have a video playing. Today, guys, I want to talk about, jump right into it, is my top influencers. Internet influencers, because if it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't have heard of these people. And then I guess I'll give you also influencers that that I know personally that have influenced my life. And yeah, so I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna just go for the internet ones that you may already know about. And let's see here. Let's try to get that a little lower. Ones that you may already know about. The first ones we're gonna mention are going to be the ones that. So there's gonna be. There's like two people, I just kind of forgot. There's two people that are more on the vulgar end, and they're very real and honest. They're going to tell you how it is, and they're going to curse and do all those things. I'm a Christian man myself, and I know that I don't like to listen to a lot of vulgar language. It gets old, and it's just not my thing after a while. But some people use it to get their point across. And just that being said, I'm going to tell you the two top that are very, very strong in their speeches. They're very, very, they like to use vulgar language, like to curse or whatever, and to get their point across. And the top two people, and I mentioned this in another video, my last video, but this is just top influencers, and I'm going to go over why I like them and maybe the things I don't like about them. But overall, they're my top influencers, so they're going to be people that I recommend that you should listen to. Now, these two top are not going to be people that are you want to really share with your Christian friends or your family, because, or even your family or friends in general. They may not like him. They may be offended, and a lot of people get offended, for a lot of things nowadays. But I like to listen to people and look past, the things I don't like, and look at the things that they do bring to the table, the type of knowledge that they're going to bring and reality. So, sorry, getting distracted here. The first one is going to be Gary Vee. Gary Vee is a very practical influencer. He's very real. He talks a lot about LinkedIn. He talks a lot about social media, Twitter, Instagram, how underpriced that the advertisement is, and how you can take advantage of that today, and the exposure that you can get today for your business, for your product. So those are really good things. The only thing that he doesn't, he can be vulgar at times, not very vulgar, but he can use the F word, and he can use some different words, but he's a businessman and he gets his point across, and he's very serious, you can tell, but he understands that reaching out to the community, reaching out to the people into the world is definitely good for the people and also good for him and his exposure. And it talks a lot about buying the New York Jets one day, and acquiring them. So, but yeah, overall, he definitely caters to a lot of the younger crowd, I would say. He tries to reach to the hip hop crowd as well. He does like a lot of rap. So that's one of the things about him. But overall, I highly recommend listening to him. He talks about practical things that are your everyday life. He talks a lot about kids and in their 20s and their 30s and people and teenagers and stuff, and just shooting at the things that you desire to do, whether it be starting a podcast, whether it be starting a YouTube channel like I'm doing now, or a business, or certain work or job or whatever it is, to just shoot, especially when you're younger, because you have plenty of time to test and see. Test and see what you like, and that's what I recommend, is to test and to see whether or not a certain industry fits you well or not, and you go what works and forget what doesn't. Beyond Gary Vee, the next one that I want to talk about is going to be Dan Pena. Mr. Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, or now the $1 trillion man, from what I just seen on his website, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Pena. I really like the guy because I can relate to him on a lot of things. He's Mexican, I'm Mexican. We were both born here. I'm second generation Mexican. He is first generation. The man's parents came over here legally, and guess what? The man is a billionaire. This guy is creating millions and wealth in this world for other people, just like me and you. holds seminars that are like, I think about 20 grand a seminar for like a week. You're at his castle and you spend time there and you learn and how to make bigger deals and all these things that he teaches. So if you're looking to be super wealthy, I highly recommend listening to him. He will tell it like it is. He's a very, very vulgar gentleman. He will use words that you may not like, especially if you're a Christian. You're not going to really want to listen to him. You may be turned off by him. But I encourage you to look past the vulgarness, excuse that, and then listen to his teaching, listen to his principles, his preaching that he preaches. He's he's a Catholic man or whatever, but he's definitely a vulgar man. But he definitely gets his point across when it comes to teaching and helping people out and reaching out to people. He calls snowflakes people snowflakes. He probably even called me a snowflake, and I mean, I get it. You know, he makes a lot of money, but yeah, the reason why he calls people snowflakes is because people don't take charge. They're always waiting. They're always people pleasing. And they're not really putting themselves first. And, you know, talking about it, man, it makes me think about my life and what I'm doing with it. But it makes me think, you know, am I in control of my life or am I just here to please people? So, yeah, something to think, a guy to watch. My next two, or next one or few, is going to be Jim Cockrum, the Silent Sales Radio. They've really a very, very Christian and you know, faith-based group. He loves to really encourage people and very, very easy to listen to. Totally opposite of the other two that I mentioned. Highly recommend you follow him on YouTube and you listen to him on a podcast. I think he's on Apple and stuff. And he's very, 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 very good. Very wholesome gentleman. All about bringing fathers home and making money online and making multiple streams of income, which is what I'm about as well. So I highly encourage you to listen to him, especially if you're a Christian. You're going to love him. The gentleman is a Christian, and he is definitely having an impact on people's lives, along with him and his team as well. If it wasn't for his team, a lot of stuff that he does is not possible, but he's definitely been in the game for a while regarding e-commerce. Beyond that, I would recommend listening to Dan Locke as well. He does use a little vulgar language. He's actually a mentee of Dan Pena. They were close related. They do videos together. There's another gentleman I want to mention, and I can't think of his name. Well, I guess top of my head right now that I would recommend you watching would be Christian Guzman and Max Chewing. These guys are not really guys who really teach you how to get wealth, but if you watch them, you'll see what it takes to get wealth. You see their demeanor and what they talk about. Sometimes they will talk about business, but they're more lifestyle entrepreneurs and YouTubers. They show you and they give you entertainment at the same time. I enjoy watching them. Buff Bunny as well. That group, they're all kind of together, entrepreneurs over there in Houston, Texas, or in Texas. I forget what part exact. I think it's Houston, and they talk about they do a lot of business things and e-commerce and influencers themselves. So highly recommend you listen to those guys. Again, Christian Guzman, one of my favorites, just because he's Mexican like myself, born here, and Americanized or whatever. But I definitely can appreciate someone with the same ethnicity as myself. Beyond that, my local influencers, my pastor, Michael Otano, I highly recommend you listen to him, his podcast, Christian Revival Center. If you're looking to be changed and spiritually transformed, he will definitely tell it like it is. I feel like he has a mixture of Dan Pena and Jim Cockrum at the same time, with the wholesomeness and also the not the vulgarness, but he gets the point across, and he will tell you like it is, what you need to do, how you need to do it, and get straight to the point, and not just tickle your ear there. Yeah, just tickle your ears for whatever reason, just to make you feel good. He'll tell you like how it is, and get to it. Prayer, fasting and prayer, and all these good things, and the principles, and understanding what it means to be a Christian, understanding what it means for salvation in the aspect of Christianity. And also, my other first pastor that I ever had, Pastor Rios, a gentleman who's located in Virginia now, my first church I've ever been a part of. Born again in that church, spoke in tongues, changed my life. An Argentine man, and very, very appreciate that man and what he's done in my life, and welcoming me into his life, into his family's life, and his patience with me, and all that he's done. Very humble man, and I very appreciate him very much. I'm not sure if they're online or not, but I highly recommend listening to him if he's online. Very, very humble man. I appreciate him and his family and all they've done for me. And those are my top influencers, guys. These videos can get really long, and time just goes by really fast. And I hope you guys enjoy the podcast and enjoyed it. Thank you for listening, watching. And guys, if you guys follow me for Dragon Ball Z, I do have my Dragon Ball Z account going. I'm probably going to put up another video tonight as well for that. That's going to be the Ascended Saiyan. So if you're into that, anime and stuff like that, totally different category that I get into. More my fun side, I guess. And so check it out, the Ascended Saiyan on podcast and on YouTube. So guys, thank you for listening. God bless you. Until next time.